Good morning, everyone. How are you? I hope all of you are fine and staying safe at home. Today, we will revise our lesson number 6, food making in plants. We also make food in our kitchens, but the method of making of food of plants is different. So, how can they make food? Do they have kitchen? No, they don't have a kitchen, but a part of the plant which is called leaf is called kitchen of the plant. So all living beings need air, water and food to live, and all living being includes plants and animals. So like us, plants also need food, they need energy. So how do plants get this energy? We get this energy from the food which we eat, but they can't eat. So have you ever seen a plant eating food? No, because plants make their own food. Yes, they make their own food, but with the help of carbon dioxide, water, minerals, sunlight and chlorophyll. Now we will discuss one by one all these things. So what plants do to make food? First, they are green. They are in green color. They have green color because of the pigment which is called chlorophyll. Yes, this chlorophyll gives them green color and it helps them to absorb sunlight. So it is needed to make food. A plant gets water and minerals from the soil. Carbon dioxide is present in the air. The energy needed to make food is taken from sunlight. So these are the ingredients which plants use to make the food. Carbon dioxide, water, minerals, chlorophyll and sunlight. In the presence of sunlight, green leaves make their food, and this process is called photosynthesis. Yes, the photosynthesis word is made up of two words. Photo plus synthesis. Photo means light and synthesis means putting together. So the process of making food is called photosynthesis, and the product which they make is called glucose. Yes, the food which they make is glucose. So here is an equation which shows the process of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water in the presence of energy and chlorophyll gives glucose plus oxygen. Now this glucose is the food which they use as well as they store for us in different parts of the plants, and the oxygen is the air which we inhale when we breathe. So now we are moving to our next page. Green leaves are called food factories and kitchen of the plants. As I told you in the beginning that part of the plant which is called kitchen of the plant is leaves because they make food. Now they use this glucose for their energy, for their growth, as well as they store it in other parts of the plants. So they convert this glucose into starch. Glucose and starch are the two types of carbohydrates, and it gets stored in the different parts of the plant, and we usually eat that part of the plant in which they store food. Like we cannot eat roots of all the plants, but we eat specific ones like carrot and radish. We can't eat leaves of every plant, but we eat spinach, fenugreek, coriander leaves, mint leaves and so on. So these are the different examples in which different plants store their food in different parts. Like some store their food in fruits, some are in flowers, some are in carrots, red roots, and some are in underground stems, leaves or seeds. So now question arises, how can we test the starch, that the given substance has starch or not? So for this there is a test which is called iodine test, and when we put a few drops of this solution on the given dish, if it turns blue black, then this blue black color shows us that it is starch. Next is special ways of getting food. Now all the plants cannot make the food. Some plants are not having chlorophyll. They are non-green plants. So how do they get food? First is Indian pipe, coral roots and mushrooms are the most common example which you have seen in your kitchen also. They are non-green plants. They don't have chlorophyll, so they cannot make their own food. But they get their food from dead and decaying plants. Yes, they get their food from dead plants and animals. So they are dependent on dead parts of the plants and animals. And some plants like kaskata or dodder or amarbel, they depend on living organisms. Now I am talking about they depend on living organism, and that living organism is called host, and the kaskata or the dodder or the amarbel, they are called parasitic plants. Parasitic plants are those plants which depend on living organisms, living plants to get the food. Second type is insectivorous plants. Insectivorous means they depend on insects. They feed on insects. So are they having teeth? No. But they get nutrients from the insects. First, these types of plants grow in that area which is deficient in soil. So plants of these areas feed on insects to get this mineral, and they are called insectivorous plants. They are green in color, they can do photosynthesis, but they complete their deficiency of nitrogen by feeding on insects. So first is the pitcher plant. It looks like a pitcher. As you can see in the picture, the image, that is a pitcher plant with a lid. The apex of the leaves form a lid cover. One leaf makes the lid cover that can be opened or closed. The most important thing of insectivorous plants is that they are in attractive colors, as well as they release sweet juice which attracts insects towards them. So insects are attracted by the beautiful colors and the fragrance of that sweet juice. So the pitcher has hairs inside it, and when an insect sits on the pitcher, it closes the lid and the insect slips inside, and it is trapped in the hairs, and the digestive juices which is released in the plant, they help the plant to digest the insect. Now in second image you can see Venus flytrap. It has two lobes. One is the upper one and second is the lower one. You can see in the picture that caterpillar is lying in between the two lobes. So the edges have long sharp spines, you can see. Together they form a trap, and these are there are the hairs inside the trap which secrete a sweet fluid and attract insects. And when an insect lands on the leaf, it touches the hairs and it closes. The spines do not allow to insect to escape out, so it is digested by the digestive juices, and then the trap reopens again. So now it's time for fill in the blanks. Green leaves contain a substance called chlorophyll. Dash plants feed on insects to get minerals, especially nitrogen, that are insectivorous plants. Now, do you know, I told you about parasitic plants. Next is how animals get their food. Living beings include plants and animals. So we are in the category of animals. Animals cannot make their own food. They obtain food from the plant or animal sources. Yes, we have two types of sources to get the food. One is the plant and second is the animal. So we use plant products as well as animal products. So based on the type of food they eat, animals are divided into three categories. One is the herbivorous, second is the carnivorous, and third is the omnivorous. Carnivorous animals, omnivorous animals. Now we will discuss it one by one. So first is the herbivorous. Herbivorous means herbs ko khane wale. So animals that eat only plants, plant products or grass, they are called herbivorous animals. Example, cow, deer, rabbit, which eat only plants and plant products. Animals that eat flesh of other animals, they kill the other animal, they hunt it. So they are called carnivorous animals like lion, tiger, leopard, frog, wolf, etc. Third is the animals that eat both plants as well as animals. We are omnivorous because we use plant products as well as animal products like crow, dog, sparrow, bear. All are the examples of omnivorous animals. Now, do you know some microorganisms? Microorganisms means very small organisms which we cannot see with unaided eyes. So they are of bacteria or fungi. They also obtain food from dead and decaying organisms, and they break down the complex food into the simple one. And breakdown of complex into simple one is called digestion. So they are considered as cleaning agents. So they clean the environment by decomposing the dead part. Next topic is food chain. Food chain is a chain of organisms in which energy is transferred from one organism to another in the form of food. It tells us who will eat to whom, कौन किसको खाएगा. So it is the process of transfer of energy in the form of food through a series of organisms. And the first step of every food chain is plants, because they are producers. They can make their own food. So here is an example of a food chain in a forest. Grass, that is food producer. Grass is eaten by deer. Deer is a herbivorous animal, and deer is eaten by a lion, which is a carnivorous animal. Next example, in a grassland, grass is eaten by grasshopper. Grasshopper is eaten by frog, and frog is eaten by snake, and snake is eaten by hawk. So that means the energy of the grass is transferred to grasshopper, and grasshopper's energy is transferred into frog, and frog's energy is transferred into snake, and snake's energy is transferred into hawk. So this is the food chain, transfer of energy in the form of food through a series of organisms. It can be 3 steps, 4 steps, 5 steps, but it always starts from the plants. Next is food web. Now what is the food web? Food chains do not operate in isolation. We cannot consider that in the whole grassland there will be only one food chain. No. It is a network of interconnected food chains. Means many food chains are existing in a forest or in a grassland or in a pond. So they are interconnected to each other. That makes a food web. So many animals eat more than one kind of food. Like this is not possible now that every time grass is eaten by grasshopper. It can be eaten by rabbit, it can be eaten by deer, it can be eaten by mouse. So they are interconnected, and this network of interconnected food chains is called food web. Take the correct statement. Food chains always operate in isolation. No, isolation means single one. So they don't operate in isolation. Animals that eat both plants and animals are called omnivorous. Yes, this is true. Now, interdependence between plants and animals. Inter word is used for between the two. So this topic is that plants depend on animals and animals depend on plants. Yes, this is true that we depend on plants and plants depend on us for our survival. Plants give us food and oxygen, glucose and oxygen they make in the process of photosynthesis, which is important for our survival. We cannot live without it. And animals breathe out carbon dioxide, and when we breathe out, we release carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is needed by plants to make their food. So this is called plants and animals depend on each other and live together. Next question is balance in nature. A balance between the number of plants and animals is important. Why it is important? Acha, tell me what happens when there is an increase in the number of plants or there is an increase in number of animals. It becomes difficult for plants to get enough food and oxygen, or it is difficult for animals to supply enough carbon dioxide. So in that case, there should be a balance between these two. So to maintain this balance, what should we do? Plants and animals need to be protected. So this is our chapter, food making in plants. So keep reading. Have a nice day. Thank you. Bye.